Hey there, fantasy football fanatics, and welcome to another episode of Fantasy Focus with the Three Frosted Mugs. Before we start the show, I do want to take a moment to recognize Veterans Day and say thank you to all those who have served and continue to serve in the military, placing their lives in harm's way. We certainly appreciate your courage and bravery and supporting the thought of freedom that stands in this country.
Allowing us to do what we do.
I personally don't have like a dad that was in the. Do you guys? Is your parents in the military?
I had a few people in the family that served, and certainly you respect whether it's in the family or outside of the family, but you respect what they do, and you don't realize until you sit and actually think about it on days like this, what going to war is and fighting for your country is. I mean, it's the epitome of bravery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather fought in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, so I'm very proud of him, and I always tell people he's my big hero in life. So yeah, certainly today you take the time to reflect on just being able to do something like this, voice your opinions in complete freedom and not have to worry about anything or who's going to think what. So we're very blessed, and not a day goes by that I'm not very proud to be an American. So and that's because of the men and women in this armed services. So thanks.
How could I forget Pop? Yeah, thank you, Pop. He's up there. He was in the Korean War. All right, well, now let's move on, right? We're back to talk about Week 10, do a little recap of that, and then, of course, what's coming up in Week 11. Before we also get started, we definitely want to congratulate the winner of the Pick 3 Plus. It was MGR, is that right?
MGR 44, won again?
MGR 44, yeah, he's won once already, right?
MGR, you're hot, buddy.
You're going to get a second mug from the Three Frosted Mugs, as well as a gift card to Famous Dave's Barbecue.
So you can now double fist tasty Bud Light.
Well, who's going to hold your barbecue, though? Major?
Yeah,
is that how you would say the name? Major?
Somebody will feed it to him.
Major?
Yeah, something like that.
Could just be his initials.
It's possible. Maddie. Congratulations.
Maddie.
And you can play Pick 3 Plus by accessing our website on the intranet, www.threefrostedmugs.com. Look for the Pick 3 Plus section, and you can create, register, or if you already have registered, go in and make sure you put those picks in. And again, that's 3 QBs, 3 running backs, 3 offensive teams, top scoring game of the week, and a tiebreaker. Well, now Week 10 is behind us. Week 11 is ahead of us. A lot of injuries occurred. A lot of key fantasy players were affected. Chad, Brian, let's get into this madness.
Let's do it. Top QBs last week.
Yep, let's go into it.
Some guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers. All he did was throw 6 touchdowns in the first half.
Who is that?
I mean, he could have probably torched them for 9 touchdowns. If he really wanted to.
Oh, they definitely pulled back the reins in the second half. I think they went for a couple solid drives to start, but yeah, he was unbelievable. And, I actually listened to an interview with him on the radio coming in here today, and he was talking about, they're like, we're in a special zone, this, that, and the other. He goes, if you look at some of the catches, a lot of them were short throws where, a lot of run after the catch, and they just had everything going. The Bears looked like a Division III squad out there.
They're terrible. They look worse than Dallas's defense last year. Let's see, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, all he did was throw 5 touchdowns with 2 pickles, but once he got going, he just abused the Oakland Raiders. And Tony Romo coming off of, being out and definitely in a lot of pain. Of course, he got a lot, speaking of yards after the catch, Des Bryant helped him out on that end, so it's not like he had to throw the ball. And plus, Dallas, I don't know how many yards they rushed for, but they rushed all over the Jaguars.
Manning didn't even play that fourth quarter, basically. So, I mean, those numbers are disgusting for
Speaking of, did you see his backup reaction? Did you see it? I mean, it was all over Facebook.
That was good.
I thought he was going in.
That was awesome. Like,
He grabs the helmet, and then he turns around to go out there, and all you can see is the 18 from behind, and he's jogging back out there for one more series. So
the sheriff.
Yeah, they were giving him a hard time about that.
That's funny. Doo-doos of last week, Andy Dalton. I think in fantasy, I've seen him have anywhere from like -2 points to +2. Either way, you were very distraught after seeing that.
It was sad to watch.
I'm glad I did not have the pleasure of watching that. Jay Cutler just threw up all over himself. He is
earning that contract, definitely.
He's definitely one of the most overrated quarterbacks. People, as long as Jay Cutler still wants to be a quarterback, there'll always be a coach that wants to coach him, and somebody will give him money. And Joe Flacco, big disappointment. Thought he would really carve up the Tennessee defense. but he didn't. Just a subpar day.
Great analysis.
Thank you.
But he did not.
Thank you.
That's awesome. We're moving into running backs.
Running backs. Marshawn Lynch, I mean, he went beast mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else do I need to say? He ran like Marshawn Lynch runs. I mean, he ran like he had something to prove, and he wanted to run somebody over every play. I think he looked for somebody to run over and then looked for the end zone. I think that's his first two initial
5
reads.
yards to the left just to go after someone.
Yeah, Justin Forsett. Maybe that's a reason why Joe Flacco didn't have such a good day, because they were running the ball successful. And C.J. Anderson, big day in that Denver offense. I think when Monte Ball comes back, I don't think he's going to have but maybe a change of pace role, because you got C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman. I even like that Juwan Thompson
Hillman's
kid.
injured, I think, now.
Well, yeah, Hillman's got a sprained foot, but we'll see. He's been their best back since. And to be honest with you, Ball wasn't really setting the world on fire earlier on this season. So
that's what I'm saying.
they're definitely a back by committee.
We were definitely giving it to Hillman before. Like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I think Ball's he's got an uphill battle from here on out to try to get back in that rotation. Doo-doo running backs. Sean Green. Did you put him on there? Because I don't even think he's a starter there. So Sean Green, didn't expect a lot out of him anyway. Bishop Sankey's taking over the reins there. Lamar Miller, for his standards, had a subpar game. I think he got injured or had a shoulder injury during that game.
He was coming in with an issue to begin with.
Exactly. So Lamar Miller, not such a good game. And Reggie Bush, coming back off an injury. He got injured again. It's going to be one of them things with Bush at his age. I think he's close to 30. He's going to be a guy that you're going to expect this. I'll put him in the category with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart, yeah. Both Carolina backs.
They're going to be injured all the time. Now, when they're in there, you're going to get something special. You're going to have an above average back when they're in there. So yeah, those were your doo-doo running backs.
All right, wide receivers.
Top wide receivers last week. Jordy Nelson. He's
on my team.
Yeah, we talked about when Roethlisberger was throwing all those touchdowns. You're going to have more than one, more than two people that reap the benefits of that. Jordy Nelson reaped the benefits of Aaron Rodgers throwing for all those touchdowns. Des Bryant, we spoke on him earlier. A lot of yards after the catch. He's just a freak.
He's on my other team.
Yeah, he's playing really good right now, and I think most of those yardage, I think probably all of them came in one quarter, so that's pretty impressive. And Jordan Matthews, a little bit of a sleeper, kid out of Vanderbilt. He big week for him with Philly.
Yeah, that was last night. Yeah, he lit it up. Sanchez and him look good together.
And that could be. I mean, if Jordan Matthews continues to play like this, you get Macklin on the other side. That's tough.
Macklin didn't even really participate last night. Like, they didn't need him. Like, Jordan Matthews and
he wanted to buy. We resting up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Eagles. I don't, like I said, Chad. I think you could stand back there and throw 2 touchdowns with that offense.
And that defense playing the way they do in special teams. When you got Darren Sproles returning,
they put up like They put up like 35-40 in the one league. I had I had the defense, and I was like, oh well, I lost this week. And then they got to within 3. They had like 36 points at one time. I was like, you got to be kidding me. 9 sacks, 8 sacks. What was it? 9 sacks.
9
last
sacks.
night?
And he got sacked 9 times. Little Ferris Bueller. Yeah, but they're playing good right now. We'll touch on them a little bit when we get into 3 Frosted Mugs. Doo-doo wide receivers. AJ Green. We're just putting the whole doo-doo category, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, that was mainly because Andy Dalton.
Exactly. And then the Cleveland Browns are legit. They got a good D, so let's show them props as well. Sammy Watkins, subpar, and Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd is, if you've still got him in your league, it would probably be wise to drop him. Drew Stanton is going to, it appears that he likes to target Brown. And then, with Fitzgerald, with him coming on, kind of playing the way he is. Michael Floyd's boom or bust. He's at best a wide receiver 4 or 5 each week. So it would not be a bad move if you decided to drop him at this point in the season, because right now you probably already know where your team is going. And if you're not in the playoffs, then who cares? Don't worry about it. But if you are, if there's somebody else better out there,
pick them up. Pick them up. All right, tight ends.
Top tight ends, Jimmy Graham. We'll run through these quick. Jimmy Graham, one of the best in the leagues. Julius Thomas, one of the best in the leagues. Greg Olson, one of the best in the leagues. Not going to spend much time telling you how great you already know they are. Doo-doo performances, Travis Kelce. It was a little subpar for him, but that game right there was a lot about defense. That was two good teams going at it, two really good defenses. Martellus Bennett, I'm just going to say the Bears. They suck. And Larry Donnell, subpar game.
All right, defenses. You mentioned one of them. Top defenses.
Yeah, Philly was fantastic.
Eagles. And then Cardinals. How about scored 21 points?
My Cardinals.
I mean, one after
Cardinals.
another. It was ridiculous.
Well, Patrick Peterson got burned on a bad defensive holding call, and he was really upset about it. And then the very next play, he goes over there and makes that pick six, and
he's one of the top three in the game.
He's phenomenal. He really is. He's a stud, and
he's awesome.
Now, he just got a contract, right? Wrapped up with Cardinals, didn't he?
Yeah, he should have. I know their quarterback just got one in time.
I think he got one last year. I think they've wrapped him up. Doo-doo team, Panthers. They suck. They're terrible. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is terrible. They pretty much were on the up and up last year and then gutted that team for God knows why. So
Cam Newton's hurt.
Yeah,
he's banged up. He's got rib issues. They said he's got a foot issue now.
Yeah, well, they're losing. Of course he does.
And real quick, your experience. I mentioned injuries in the intro, and you're experiencing that right now with Nick Foles.
Yeah, Nick Foles is.
So what are you gonna do, man? You gonna?
I don't know. It's probably gonna wait and see to what Mark Sanchez does, because if Foles isn't gonna come back till week 16, but the Eagles are still rolling, you don't want to ruin that continuity with what's going on. But if Foles has only got him at 500 while he's in there. I mean, if Sanchez only has him at 500, then Foles, I think, is going to come back.
Well, he's 1.5-0 right now.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, as of right now. But I'll wait it out and see. If you've got him on your now, if he does come back, it'll either be for your second round of the playoffs or the final. So it's a toughie.
Is Foles that much more talented than Sanchez?
I think people are throwing a lot of weight on that first seat where he didn't. He threw
phenomenal.
New picks, right? He threw no picks.
Yeah, it's. I guess the jury's still out on Foles.
I like Sanchez. I think that, this is obviously a quarterback-friendly system. I think he played for a defensive-minded coach in New York, and I'm interested to see. I don't know that he gives up the. I don't think he gives up the job. I think he will be their starter in the playoffs because they're definitely going to go. Them and Dallas, I think, are
out of the East.
Well, they were saying too, like because they practice at such a high pace, he was getting a lot of time with the first team as it was, even with Foles there. So they don't have that awkward phase of transitioning into being the starter.
Yeah, he was talking last night when he was talking with Gruden, just the big difference between coming to a team where offense is a priority with Chip Kelly instead of coming from Rex Ryan, where it was all about that defense, no trouble. Or no offense, should I say.
That's right.
All right, well, let's move into Week 11, and I want you guys to give me your top, your sleeper, and then if you want to give me a little bit of reasoning, that's cool.
I can kind of roll through them fairly quick.
All right, so let's move into, how about quarterbacks, Chad? Give me your top and your sleeper.
All right, I'm going to go with my three tops. Robert Griffin III. They're playing at home against the Bucks. I don't need to say any more. I'm going to go with Ben Roethlisberger playing against the Titans defense. I mean, I think after the performance they had against the Jets, I think they're going to look to come out and score some points against the Titans, and I think they're going to get it done. And Colin Kaepernick, they're going to the Giants. The Giants have a pretty terrible secondary. I look for Cap to have a good game. Then I'm going to go with my sleepers, Austin Davis. I just think that I think that they're going to get blown out, but I think he's going to have a lot of garbage time. Now, talking about a normal performance, I don't think it's going to be that great, but fantasy implications, I think he's going to get some yardage, have some touchdowns, plus a couple picks. But I still do like I like Denver winning that ball game. And Zach Mettenberger, again, I look for there to be some points in this Tennessee Steeler game on Monday night. I think the Steelers are going to come out, put up a lot of points. Again, the Titans are going to be playing a little bit of garbage time.
Okay. All right. Brian, what about your top and sleeper?
Obviously, I like, a couple of mine up here are obvious, but Tom Brady. Indianapolis tends to give up a lot of yards. They tend to get in a lot of shootouts. The last time you saw Tom Brady, he was absolutely making a mockery of a really good Denver defense.
Yeah.
I think they continue that, and people like LaFell continue to step up as they develop that offense even further. Aaron Rodgers, enough said, he's a complete stud. He's just going to pick up where he left off. And Ben Roethlisberger, I was actually in Tennessee a couple weeks ago and saw the Titans play the Texans, and that defense is nothing special at all. I think Roethlisberger rebounds, and Bryant and Brown get on the right track. And then as far as sleepers go, the kid from Washington, Robert Griffin, I think he should be okay against Tampa Bay. He got his feet wet a couple weeks ago. It's got a bye week to get healthy. I think he really will gel even further. And then Hoyer, and Josh Gordon comes back in 2 weeks. That offense is going to get even better. So I think Hoyer's continuing to pick up steam. We talked about it when I was on here last. We were talking about the Browns, and they went and laid an egg, and they have since come back and shown that they're going to be solid.
They got beat by the Jaguars that week.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're 6-3. They should be 7-2.
It's
ridiculous.
But so give me Hoyer and RG3 to surprise some people.
I like it.
Can't wait till Josh Gordon comes back. All right, running backs. Chad.
Got to pick him up now.
Give me your top. I've already got him. He's been sitting on my bench for like 8 weeks.
Oh, stud, man.
Just waiting for him.
I'm going to go with my top running backs. I'm going to go with Ingram. They're playing at home against the Bengals. I did pick, one of my other preseason picks. I did pick the Bengals to miss the playoffs. I think seems to me they're kind of on the downslide, and I don't think there's any rebounding. And I think the Saints at home, I mean, I know they just lost at home, but they don't lose at home. Saints win this ball game. I think they ground and pound on the Bengals. I am also going to go with Le'Veon Bell. I think this is going to be a ton of points. Le'Veon Bell, especially if you're in a PPR league, they're not scared to throw the ball to their running back. I look for Le'Veon Bell to have a lot of points. And I mean, it's hard to pick a player off this team right now for some fantasy points, but I'm going to pick Matt Forte just for the fact that I think he catches a lot of balls out of the backfield. I think they're going to run a lot. They're playing at home. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs by any means because they're 3-6 and they need something special to happen. But I don't think they're quite going to punt on the season. I think Trestman's still too green of a coach to worry about punting on a season. So I still think they're going to play hard. Sleepers. I'm going to take Brandon Oliver. I look for him to have a big game against the Raiders, although the Raiders do have somewhat of a decent run defense, but they are on the road, and they are the Raiders. And Jerick McKinnon. I think Jerick McKinnon playing against the Bears. The Bears' defense is, we talked about it earlier, horrific. And I think Jerick McKinnon breaks off a couple long runs, maybe even takes a long screen pass to the house.
Okay. All right, Brian.
I'm going to have to agree with you on the first two, Le'Veon Bell and Matt Forte. Great call on Bell. Catches a lot of balls out of the backfield. He's been a fantasy stud so far this year. Forte, I think in order for that passing game to get going again, they've got to establish him. I think they look to him early. I think he kind of carries the load, and they kind of go as he goes. And when he's got yards, that offense looks unstoppable. Yeah. And then I have Marshawn Lynch. I mean, I think we're starting to get into Lynch season. It's the second half. Second half of ball games, second half of seasons, playoffs. He starts wearing people down. When people are tired and banged up, he just gets better. And then my sleepers, Shane Vereen. He'll grab a couple touchdowns near the end zone because, like I said, I expect that to be a high-scoring game. And then Terrence West, another Brown. I feel like he's going to get some more carries. He's warranted them, and we'll see what happens with him, but I expect nothing but good things for them for the rest of the year.
I like it.
All right, moving into wide receivers. Chad.
Wide receivers, I'm going to go with Deshaun Jackson again. Washington's playing Tampa Bay. I think he's going to have a big day. Julio Jones, I look for him to have a big day. Had no touchdowns, but a lot of yardage, yardage and catches last week. They are playing a terrible Panthers defense. And I'm also going to go with Odell Beckham Jr. I think this kid's the truth, and I think the 49ers are going to pass all over the Giants, and I think the Giants are going to have to throw the ball a lot to catch up, so I look for him to have a big game. Sleepers, I'm going to go Malcolm Floyd just because, again, they're playing the Raiders. And Wes Welker, I think this is a game where he gets involved. I think this is he hasn't really had a big Wes Welker game. I look for him to have over 5 catches at least, and possibly 80, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think this is Wes Welker's week.
All right, I like the alliteration. Brian.
I like A.J. Green to rebound. Too good of a receiver to be kept down for multiple weeks. T.Y. Hilton, go back to the shootout there against New England. Luck and him really have a special connection, and they're just consistent. T.Y. always gets his. He makes sure T.Y. gets in the game early. It's impressive. And then Antonio Brown. I loved Antonio Brown. I can't believe he still returns punts. But, as far as a receiver goes, he's it. He's an upper echelon receiver, in my opinion. Should be considered in that top 5 area because he really is. He's Ben's safety blanket. And then sleepers. My 2 sleeper receivers are both playing in the same game here in Washington on Sunday. I like Vincent Jackson. That big frame receivers have always given Washington secondary a hard time. And then Pierre Garçon. I think RG3 really, when RG3 is going, Pierre Garçon is going. And they're impressive when they're playing together and on the same page. Garçon caught a ton of balls from him last year. I think with the week off, they'll be ready to go. And I think really Deshaun Jackson pulling people away, pulling that secondary away, should open up Garçon in the middle of the field. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move into the tight ends, Chad.
All right, tight ends, I'll roll through them quick. These 3 guys, really no explanation needed. Julius Thomas, Antonio Gates, and Greg Olson. And then my sleepers, Travis Kelce, didn't have that big of a game last week. Look for him to bounce back this week. And then whatever tight end's playing for the Browns. If Jordan Cameron's in, I like Jordan Cameron. If Gray's playing, I like Gray. I just like the Browns tight end against that Texans defense this week.
Okay.
That's it.
Brian?
Gronk, highest scoring game. He's a stud. One-handed catch. Say no more. Martellus Bennett. I feel like if the Bears are going to go anywhere, it's going to start through the ground game, and Bennett gets a lot of touchdown catches, a lot of play in the red zone. Julius Thomas, one of the greatest of all time, throws to him, enough said there. And then sleepers, Kyle Rudolph. I really feel like Teddy's getting going, and Rudolph's a big target for him, and that should be good for them. And then Colby Fleener, back to the shootout in New England. I think I have picked almost every offensive player.
I think you
in
have a
that
linebacker
game.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think I've got a left guard in there catching a couple touchdowns at this point.
Yeah.
All right, and then defenses. Give me a top and a sleeper, Chad.
Top defense, Miami Dolphins. That's going to be a good game. Matter of fact, you can pick either defense in that game. Bills, Dolphins, like both of them.
And say your sleeper real slow for me.
Miami.
No, your sleeper.
Oh. Who is? Let me go see who my sleeper is.
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious? You know exactly.
They play
I
right
can't
up
read.
the
I can't
road.
read. The Washington Redskins. And then there's 2 other defenses you can't go wrong with.
No.
I doubt they're
Washington
going to be out
Redskins.
there, but you can go with the Lions or Cardinals. That game right there should be one of the best games on the docket this week.
Who would have thought, growing up, you think would there ever be a day that Lions Cardinals is the premier game of the weekend?
I know, right?
Oh, Brian, what's your top and sleeper defense?
I think Denver is going to suffocate St. Louis. I like Davis, but I just don't like this spot. I think Denver this is a business trip for them. They're going to go in and handle business. And then the sleeper, the Steelers, they've got Monday night, Tennessee, Mettenberger. Blah, I don't see anything happening there.
Yeah.
Be taking some selfies with Hurting
Biebs.
and Mettenberger.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Biebs and Ben.
The Bees.
Stay away from Washington, Justin. Just stay away. All right, well, that's it for us in Fantasy Focus. Put what we've discussed to good use here and etch your name into fantasy football history. We would like to thank AJ Studios for the post-production and graphics work. Matt, thank you for running the equipment. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier today, by the way.
It's fine. I'll live.
Okay, good. I'll
Sadly,
say hi to you in the
in a
next
corner.
show. What?
Said I'll live sadly in the corner.
Oh, well, I'll see you in that corner in the next show. You can find more episodes like this and our main program, Three Frosted Mugs Sportcast, on www.threefrostedmugs.com, as well as put your picks in for Pick 3 Plus. And again, we want to congratulate our winner, MGR, and some numbers. You know your name. You're the second time you've won. So congratulations on that. Again, thank you for watching Fantasy Focus with the Three Frosted Mugs, a Fiad Entertainment Group production. Trust your gut and never tinker.